We are coming to the most interesting part of it. Rather, I tell you 2 year sessions. And this session particularly is so important because it is summarizing the entire what we have done. This session speaks about the security threats. And we all commonly know about it. I will invite my panelists here. Mr. Murali Srinivasan, kindly come. I'll give their introduction. First, I'll call them. Mr. Fernandez, Mr. Lozario, please come. Please come. Sorry. So let me begin with the introduction to my learned panel. Mr. Murali Srinivasan is a very experienced person who is a BTech, then MBA also. He is the head of the Tekken, one organization he'll talk in detail about. He has 25 years of physical security system he has developed, and a very well experienced person with regard to the physical security systems, developed operations across the world in different countries. And I have my another friend who is a pilot basically. Pilot, not only the pilot, with the ESA and the A320 rating he is having. And beside that, he is having level 6 proficiency of English language from the ICAO. He is an international public relation manager. He has published many papers in the research journals on aviation security. And he has done large number of aviation certifications. And beside that, he is from Federal Aviation Academy. He is a PPL also. So with this panel, we must, feel grateful for this panel. So create the background. I must tell you, today's scenario is what we had been talking about, the data system. We had been talking about how the automation is coming. We have been talking about how artificial intelligence is working. But there are great amount of threats coming to the airports also. In the name of passenger facilitation, making a passenger comfortable about the very easy free travel, we are somehow compromising with the security aspects also. And I know many airports in the world, they don't bother about it also because there is no incident there. If an airport is not having any incident, he doesn't bother about these things. Now, what is cyber security threat? They take it very casually. I tell you, for a few points I have noted down a picture. What are the threats you see? The threat can come. I'll come in detail about the physical security, which can't be compromised. But first I'm touching about this cyber security aspects, which are very important. What are the prone areas? What are the attack vectors? Network, wireless access ports, emails, smartphones, social networking sites. Targeted attacks are there. Social engineering is done. Laptop, USB drives at the airport, USB devices, optical media, cloud computing, online frauds. How much is there? Because hackers, I told earlier also, they have become expert. And the moment you go to the airport and you are using your charger with the USB portal, you never know your entire data, what is there in your telephone, in your mobile. Your all information can be hacked by a USB board. You are using the Wi-Fi system at the airport and you never know that system going into that, your entire data can be hacked. And these examples have come. I was telling earlier also, Lufthansa lost millions of dollars on that. 2-3 years, they were not knowing that their data has been compromised. Data is money. Knowledge is money. Everybody wants. And when you are a frequent flyer, your entire data is there with the airline. You purchase a ticket. Everything you give to the airline. If it is hacked. Now, what are the other areas? Access control. You have got radar systems, ground radar, all these things where the information is available. Wherever the information is available, a hacker is very much interested to have that. Now, another point comes. Now, in the disruption case, whenever there is a disruption on account of theft in the data, the data loss is a great loss to the airline, to the public at large, and the threat also embarrasses. The reputation of the airline is compromised. You see the sanctity. You say, I am flying by Emirates, I am going for Lufthansa, I am going by KLM and all. If any data has been compromised, you lose faith from the airline. Now, another thing I tell you, before that, I would like to come more, we will talk about the cyber security, but I would like to call upon, you see, the most important thing is about how the security in general. My question is, Mr. Forty, how the security in aviation in general changed because of the pandemic?
Thank you. So, pandemic came like a stopwatch. It was similar to 9/11. So suddenly pandemic arrived. Everybody started thinking only about the COVID. Of course, it was a big issue. It was probably the issue of I'm not saying of the century, but of the last decades. Suddenly, the world stopped, aviation stopped, everybody stopped, and COVID became number one priority and topic. So, of course, during COVID, we didn't realize the damage that COVID was making to aviation security in that period. We realized that the damage happened when we restarted flying. Why? Because people were less. Employees were less. Staff shortage, we have been seeing that also last summer, in Europe in particular, in US, but all around the world, staff shortages in the airlines, in the airports, in any company involved in aviation was staff shortage, including security. That was problem number one. So when the flow of people came back, the flow of passengers came back, we're not able to deal with them, including in security. And that was a threat, because when you cannot deal with the security, not even for a security control, that is a threat, because means that either you accept less passengers, and that decreases revenue, and of course aviation after years of pandemic couldn't afford another reduce in revenue, or you reduce the security level, which security and safety is something you can never compromise.
You have flown as a pilot to different countries and all. Your experience is so vast. And now you tell me, what kind of innovation can be there in the physical security system also with this cyber threats, or not even cyber threats, security threats, I must emphasize.
For cyber threat, actually, I think it's, I have a very easy, let's say, answer. So use common sense. Because sometimes I see people, not even in aviation, just in day-by-day life, putting their data, sensible data, on social networks. And of course, then they're complaining, they hacked my laptop, they hacked my smartphone. Yeah, but if you're putting, your phone number or your personal data on the social networks so that everybody can access, that's of course, a very big threat. And incredible or not, people even in very high level position of responsibility, they're doing this mistake or with their own personal data and sometimes with companies' data. So that's, use common sense is actually part number one. Then of course we can talk about all the innovations, which they are there. Also thanks, let's say, to COVID. We have many innovations thanks to the artificial intelligence and new security measures, cyber security measures. But they're all useless if we don't use common sense. That's, I think, in general for cybersecurity, but we can put this in any safety or security related issue. So common sense.
Before I come to Mr. Srinivasan about the physical security, you see, we have got traditionally, you see, bomb detection and disposal squads at the airports. We use the sniffer dogs there. When the baggage comes and all, it is a compulsory drill and all for drugs and other things and all. We have got the very sophisticated X-ray machines also, where you go for a check-in baggage, but everything can't be detected so easily. In spite of that, at the airport, we have got 3-level, 5-level security checks when your baggage goes on one conveyor belt and down below. By the time from second floor to the ground floor for taking to the aircraft, several rounds it takes to do. But still you see the threat preparation remains because the insiders are there. The basic threat is from the insider. If a person working with you and the airport operator becomes the thief, becomes the one person, I tell you, small, I was at Bombay airport. There used to be drug, you see, used to go from India and the gold used to come to India and drugs were going out. And the modus operandi was that a person who is conveyor belt operator, your baggage has been checked and it is going on. And that particular operator who is conveyor belt operator in a remote area, when your baggage is moving around on the conveyor belt, he will open that particular baggage which has been identified and put the drug there. There is no check and all. And while you see the gold is coming to the country, one person, he said the Gulf Fair used to be very famous that time for this. They will say then, I want to have Bay 44. So when the aerobridge is docked there, a person will come with the gold package and there is a aerobridge operator. When the aerobridge is docked to the aircraft, there is a small slit there. And the person is coming from the aircraft, he will give it to the aerobridge operator, he will put it down. And the driver is there who is also in connivance with the, you see the physical security or smuggling. I must say it was smuggling. So that is also a part of physical security. So my question is now, Mr. Srinivasan is an expert. He has developed the systems about with this tracking. Now I want to know from him how this tracking help when the terminal security is changing and the modern airports are giving. And better, what is your experience and what your organization is doing about that?
Thanks, Doctor. Actually, I like to differ from your thought, saying that all these equipments are a threat to the security. I say the equipments are a boon to security. Actually, with the new IoT, artificial intelligence and machine learning, everything is tracked and done. Say you are saying about an example where the particular aircraft comes and stands in only stand number 44. All these things in the data analysis nowadays easily can be triggered and it will be showing us an alert and alarm saying that there is a problem. Because of this continuous events, there is a problem. There are SOPs there which says that how it needs to be divided among the different people, different areas, and that's how it has been made. And the large amount of data, as rightly said, now data is oil. As there is a threat saying that keeping the data outside, it's a threat also. But data is oil, data is information. From the information we study and we analyze that these are the gaps. And from these gaps, we come out. So we, in Track IT also, we develop systems separately for land side and air side. So in the land side, what we do is to increase nowadays the modern airports, they all thrive for more passengers. More passengers with the same infrastructure. It cannot happen. If it has to happen, means the bottlenecks has to be eradicated. The most important bottleneck in the airport is the exit, the arrival way where they do the rechecking. That is what doctor was trying to say. They come with gold and drugs and other things. But this is where customs people also see that they have to have a recheck, and to catch one suspect, they're increasing time for the normal passenger to come out. All the 99 normal passengers, their time to come out of the airport is elongated. This is where Track IT comes with solutions where we use IoT and artificial intelligence based system, and we track the suspect. He is separated for the customs, and the normal passengers have a free flow. This is what we do. So I differ, doctor, saying that security.
My concept was when a person working at the airport, he himself wants to compromise with this. A person who is responsible for maintaining the security,
True.
he becomes the culprit. That becomes the problem.
That's what I was trying to say. We have SOPs, and SOPs are now put in the artificial intelligence and machine learning, where it sees that the same flight and the same passenger or the same checker never happens. Nowadays, even if you look at the screening, it does not happen in the place where the baggage is there. He sits in a separate, control room, which is in a 7th floor or 8th floor in the airport, and he doesn't even know he is scanning the bag that is coming from Dubai, or that is coming from London, or that is coming from Ceylon.
No, it used to be, it was a pre-planned identified mark on that particular baggage, and the persons are having a license with that. Now, one thing, still the airport, you see, instances are coming where the passenger complaints, my baggage has not come, or something has been stolen from my baggage.
True.
I am getting many complaints from the passengers who are reporting it, कि sir, gold was there or my currency was there, it is not there. It is very difficult to manage that kind of complaints.
For this also, there are many systems. Even Track IT is doing a system. So when a baggage comes in a carousel or in a conveyor belt, we scan the X-ray image. We take a physical image when it is passing each bottlenecks. When it's passing each bottlenecks, we take the X-ray and this one, and that is very much used for the security people to re-innovate to see what happened, what was there, is the customer complaint true or false. So it is not always that a system is a threat. System is also a boon.
Yeah, I'm not disputing the system is a threat. I'm only talking about if the person who are responsible for maintaining the system, they become the person become thief himself, who is supposed to be the policeman.
True.
And one thing more I tell you with the biometrics and all, what is the great advantages come in the scenario of security aspect of it. There are a lot of cases at the airport used to come where a person is having a fake identity. He is entering the airport, even airport entry permit has been found a fake one. So now the most important thing which has come to our airports is biometrics, it has come as a boon.
True.
Because even the passports have been detected which are fake. Immigration people, in spite of all kind of things, are not being able to detect that this is a fake passport. It has been made in such a perfect manner by the hackers and all. So these kind of security threats are there part and parcel. But now Airport Council International, Asia Pacific, I had been a studying council member in Hong Kong. They have had certain security effects. They have recommended something. One recommendation was the development of IT assessment cells should be maintained. This is a recommendation of ACI. Then working with the other industry groups also. The airport operator should work with the other agencies also. There should be combined meetings with the immigration, with the customs, with the police, with the other security agencies. Then the task force should be created. These are the recommendation of ACI. So the importance should be stressed at that level. Now, the bottlenecks comes in the way of geography. Various international laws are different with regard to the crime related to the cyber crimes or security crimes. Like in your Arab countries and all UAE, the punishment is very stringent.
True.
So here the crimes will be less. I can assure that I don't think in the Saudi Arabia you will find these kind of things because the laws are very stringent. But in some of the countries the laws are very flexible. So that also makes a great difference. So the strict laws are to be maintained, uniformity should be there. And then some of the things which comes in the way are how you look about the security at your airport. How much importance you give to the security aspects. So, Mr. Lajafort, you have anything more you want to say about that?
So, linking to what you said just a couple of minutes ago about that all the organizations should work together, we go back to a concept that I heard this morning and also this afternoon: stakeholder management and stakeholder engagement. In particular now, when everybody has a staff shortage, going back to what I said earlier, and everybody, all the organizations, all the stakeholders should work together. If you have less employees or less workforce, what do? Would you stop monitoring security? No, you cannot, even because in your very few staff left, as you said, there might be even an insider threat. So either you accept it and your level of security goes down, or if you want to keep an high level of security while also maintaining a decent level of customer service, because we have to remember that our passengers are also customers, you have to work with other forces or other stakeholders to make sure that even though you have less capacity, their engagement can either make a more fluid flow through security and also can keep the level of security high in order that the threat, even if it comes from the inside, can be detected.
Now the organization name itself says track it.
Okay, here also I should first thank Doctor when he said about the Saudi Arabia. I should say it's not just Saudi Arabia, the whole region of the Middle East. Here, thanks to the rulers, they take security to the highest level. So they do good systems. So that is why one of the reason the crime rates are less here. So in other places where there is a tight budget constraints, the security is given the least importance. And that is where the loopholes are there, and those airports and those seaports become a vulnerable threat for the security. But in this region, especially, again, thanks to the rulers, they give enough budget and enough importance to the system. So, and because of this, the airport has good systems which stops all security threats. That's my point of view.
No, I do agree. But of course, I think GCC in particular, Middle East in general, is how to say, a positive example to bring, because I think they really give security enough importance. So indeed, Middle East is Saudi Arabia is probably one of the best example, but GCC in general I think is a positive example. But you have to remember, as Professor said earlier, that and I guess you agree with me, that even if you have a flight leaving Dubai or Riyadh, it might land or it might come from a place where security is not taken as serious as it should be. So who can detect the problem? Who can try to improve the security level? Someone else in the chain, someone else in the security stakeholders group. If not, we end up with a famous model, which is the Swiss cheese model. You have many slices with many holes. To have the incident, you need to have all the holes aligned.
True.
But if you put the slice without the holes in between, you stop the chain, you stop the bullet. So the important thing is that if you have a good risk assessment from an airline, for instance, even though the flight departs from a place where security levels are low, you can still try to stop the process. Of course, GCC, as you said, and Saudi Arabia, it is a positive example. We should try to bring this example even abroad. But unfortunately, it is not. I think security sometimes is also a matter of facing reality. And reality is that GCC is a very high level. Probably other countries are near to the GCC, Saudi Arabia, UAE level, but others are not. And we have to deal with that.
That's true.
One thing, when it comes to the remedial part of it, I think for any kind of security measures or any kind of cyber security, the education to the passenger is very important. You see, unless and until the passenger is educated about the security threats, that what kind of threats are there and how his baggage is vulnerable, what kind of checks and balances are required. So I think every airport internationally in a common form must do that, because your mobile phone, what you are carrying, I think we must educate. I am not saying that all Wi-Fi systems available at the airport are wrong. These are all correct. But the hackers are there who really take it out. Whatever kind of security measures in the electronic things, because science is improving day by day. And if I tell you how much the improvement has come, I have got some statistics on that. You see, by the year 2025, the European Union says about 248 million broadband subscribers will be there. So see how much is it growing. And with this rate, they are saying 4.7 billion internet users, 75% for emerging economies. You see the Pakistan 63% and Algeria 35%, Saudi Arabia 22.2%, Kenya 19.2%. This much is there. And the cyber attacks are at the international level. These are from internationally by the cyber attackers, not in one country and other countries also. And attacks to the airlines. You see the ground operation system is affected. Flight planning is affected. You see the disturbed denial of service attacks are winter. Airline freeze loyalty accounts also. Whatever you see they hack with the vulnerable data where they can encash on it. Because you see most importantly, very few people know about the boarding pass QR code. How sensitive it is. It's the most sensitive document what you are having. After doing your flight, you say the system is okay, I have taken my baggage, you are going to a taxi and you just leave the used boarding pass. So the care should be taken that QR code you must put it, cut it in 4 pieces and distribute other end, because this can be really take all the information from there. Airlines are putting everything on that. So it is a very great risk nowadays, and that's why the mode is coming. Now airlines are telling you come with the boarding pass yourself.
I again slightly differ with the doctor here.
Yeah.
Actually, the barcode earlier had all the information on other things. Nowadays, with the security threat and analysis, if you scan a barcode of a boarding pass, you get a 10-digit number. What is it 10-digit number? If it goes inside the database of the aircraft, then only you will know.
Yeah.
And there is a compartmental between these two. So it is all not always that if there is a barcode, there is
Not
a threat.
entire data will come, he'll get a lead which can
Not
take
even-
him to.
Not even
You
nowadays.
see, when the Lufthansa boarding pass is there,
That was. It's always lessons
Yeah.
learned. It's always lessons learned.
Yeah.
So earlier when we scan it, we get the name of it, we get the passenger, which flight he flew in, which date he came, all these things. But nowadays, if you scan a barcode of a boarding pass, you get a 10-digit number. That's it. So what is it 10-digit number? Only if you go to that particular airport and you get it, then that is where you get it. So it's always a lesson learned also in the security. There is always saying that, right? Whether thief is great or the police is great. Always the police also tries to learn, or the system integrators or the system developers
you see
try
that I
to
tell
learn.
you, at the airport we have opened the cyber cafes.
True.
You are taking your boarding pass from there. So you are feeding your ticket number and everything. So you never know that particular cafe has been under attack and surveillance.
True.
So when you are taking your ticket, your boarding pass at the airport cyber cafe, so then it is very easy for the hacker.
It's always there. Loopholes are always there.
So nowadays you see, because of the advancement and introduction of artificial intelligence, these are the negative side effects of introduction of artificial intelligence in one way. And you see, for that expertise is required. So one has to be there preempt about what hacker can do. We should plan it, preemptive. So preemptive measures are very much required. And I was just trying to know about the innovations, what your track-it security system has developed.
We normally do the security as land side and air side. So for land side, I was explaining about giving a customer experience, and due to the customer experience, all the 99 real passengers leave the airport at the right time, and the one suspect has been taken away, and he does all the screening levels. Similarly, in the air side also, we have systems where we do, which is for the safety and security of the airlines. So what we do is we track. This is again one important system which doctor was trying to say. A particular person is a thief, and that's why he is trying to do. Here what we do is all the equipments are being tracked. Not only tracked, who is driving it and why he is driving it, and whether he is going on in the SOP, whether he is going on a round robin. So today the Dubai flight has been taken over by Mr. A, tomorrow it must be Mr. B. It is not again the same person taking the same flight, so he gets accustomed to it. And it comes in a random. So this is where we use our AI and ML tools, and with the data analysis, we see that the security is brought to the utmost level at the same time. And we also, it's not only security. With this kind of systems, we also reduce the flight. See, again, the passenger experience and cost, everything is related to each other. You see, you come and stand in an airport, aircraft comes and stands in an airport. It takes 5 minutes for the stairs to come. Where the PBB is not there, it takes 5 minutes for the airport stairs to come. It is not only wasting all the 240 people inside for 5 minutes, it is also wasting 5 minutes of the aircraft time. So in our system, what we call it as a GSE for the air side, we know that if this is a particular 321 Neo that is going to come, we know that we should have 3 side gates, 3 side stairs, and it should have this much of tanker oil, and these things has to be ready in this port at this time. So this is where we use when we integrate with other systems and we bring it. So because of this, it's not only the security, as we said, we are doing the round robin and we are using different people. We are also reducing the turnaround time of the aircraft, and also we are giving a good passenger experience. This is what we do in the air side, apart from the arrival which I was explaining. So these are the main two systems which with the help of IoT we develop and give passenger experience.
You see, now this cyber security threats across the world and all agencies, regulatory authorities, whether ICAO is there or ACI is there, IATA is there, all are involved in the process that how to make a robot system where uniformly they can circulate among all airports to prevent, you see, prevention is better. Preempt a thing that this can happen. Some of the airports, it never happened, and they are quite satisfied because it also happened, like he has also agreed that laws are very important on that. We have got very stringent law with regard to aircraft safety and all. Anybody tries to damage the things, the life imprisonment, even death penalty is there, even Indian laws.
Yeah. Here, when doctor said about the IATA, I want to say about a new development that has come from IATA. Nowadays, they just use paper tags. So IATA is coming up with an RFID system where end-to-end bags will be tracked. Also, you are saying about the passenger came, the bags will not come. So this is where IATA is working on using an RFID system from the time of your check-in, at the time you take your bag from the carousel. So everywhere you are being prompted in your app saying that this has crossed security baggage, this has crossed and this has been loaded on your flight, this has come down from the flight, this is going to come down on carousel number 4. You don't want to go in the arrival airport and see where my bag is going to come. Everything will be notified. This is what as clearly you
I
said.
think your company has made or what, the
Yeah.
Delhi airport has given me that gadgets.
Yes.
So I'm going to put it tomorrow in my baggage. And then they say you in mobile number it will come.
Yes, yes. It's
And then
SMS.
I'm going to test it for the first time.
It's an SMS, but once it rolls out for more and more passengers, it will be an app based. So it's an SMS is a different form and it's going to be an app based. So that's what I was saying from the start of it. We as a company, we bring IoT solutions to bring safety and security for the airport systems. That's
You see, a lot has been talked about in this 2-day session, which was really making part of this discussion and all. Now, hardly 1 or 2 audience are there. I welcome if any question comes and we can justify that. We call it a day. The last session is always like that. In most of the seminars, the national or international, I have observed. So, because in the last, you see, a person is exhausted since morning. So, heavy dose is there. So, unfortunately, I do my poetry and all either in Urdu or Hindi, so or English, so people don't understand that. So, but one thing I can say that what yesterday I told that share, the meaning of that was when I said, "Ab hawaएं ही करेंगी रोशनी का फैसला." Now the air, the winds will decide about the strength of the brightness. जिस दिए में जान होगी वही जला रह जाएगा. Whatever lamp is having the strength, that only will survive. The rest will be wiped out. So one should feel that. And I say to all of the stakeholders or the people in the aviation, this is the best field of, the best profession I can say. Not that I am wedded to it. The best part of it in this profession, we never retire. Only the God can retire us. Because we are in demand internationally because of the experience, the expertise in the matters and all. So I say more and more young generation should come in the field of aviation. It is the most interesting field. Do you agree with me, my panelist?
100%.
You must have enjoyed your job all through your career. You must have enjoyed as a pilot, as a marketing person, as a person, PPL also,
Well,
A320 pilot also.
In general, I think who works in aviation does it for passion. So I'm lucky enough to have combined both of passions of mine, security and aviation. So I can consider myself lucky. But I think everybody who works in aviation does it with passion. And I think we are still the lucky ones to work in a everyday enjoyable sector.
And it is a field where you get multi-skilling. You become an institutional manager. I work all international airports of the country. Though I am a chairman, but I had the access to all the departments, whether cargo or fire section or Rosenberg, to have the working knowledge. Then only I could do justice with the people. Here in aviation, we have to stoop into the shoes of a passenger to have a feel. That is more important. You see, as a pilot, he has been piloting A320 and all. The pilot should have, when there is a turbulence, how a passenger feels. When the clear air turbulence is there, you see the passengers get scared.
We should train passengers first and train employees because sometimes you have reactions.
So it is the pilot's job how he gives the message of what announcement he makes.
Yeah.
We are passing through a bad weather. Please have your belts on. Because he knows as a pilot that nothing will happen.
Communication is all.
Yes, that's what important. And finally, it is 3C in our aviation industry. Coordination, control and communication. That makes the things. So I must thank my panelist and I must thank the audience. Whoever is there, at least some organizers are there listening to us. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you.